Hi there, ho there. Welcome, everybody out there in podcast land, to the latest episode of Sports Frenzy 2.0. I am the maestro, Kevin Crane.
I'm the Conquistador, Dave Height.
How are you doing out there? We're doing great. Unfortunately, football season is winding down, but
the doldrums are getting ready to kick in a little bit.
The stakes are raised. They're amped up. We've gone through wild card weekend, heading into the divisional round.
And I would say it wasn't super wild card weekend.
No, it was crappy wild card weekend. It really was. You take away the San Francisco-Dallas game and maybe the Raiders-Bengals game, it was not fun football to watch.
No, and the other games you expect, Steelers-Chiefs we knew was going to be a blowout. The others we expected to have some competition.
Yeah, the thing is, we'll get into it. We'll go game by game. I don't want to jump the gun. I don't want to do that. You know, I don't want to go too soon, as she said. We're going to go from the Bengals-Raiders all the way through to the Monday night game with the Cardinals and the Rams, because there are a lot of talking points to discuss.
Yes.
Not only the games themselves, but off the field, what coaches, what players might have jeopardized their future or solidified their future. So let's start off with the Raiders at the Bengals from last Saturday.
Ouch. This one, I had to be out and about running errands and did not get to watch the game. I only was able to catch up on the lowlights because let's face it, they couldn't be called highlights for most of what happened.
Yeah, and the big thing, of course, was the whistle. When Joe Burrow was not out of bounds, he threw the ball.
That was a beautiful play.
But, of course, the argument is going to be, did the Raiders players stop on defense when they heard the whistle to allow, was it Tyler Boyd to catch that touchdown?
Yeah, there was coverage there. It was just a really damn good pass.
And, of course, Dave and I have talked about Jerome Boger for years and years.
That he is the worst.
And I'm sorry, we are not PC here. I don't care if he's black. I don't care the color of his skin. He's incompetent. He doesn't know what he's doing. He can barely get out two sentences together when he's trying to describe what happened. I miss Ed Hockley. I miss the 14-sentence description of what happened.
Because at least you knew why they made the call the way they did.
Jerome Boger
is awful. He doesn't know the rules.
People are scared to death to say it. They allude to it.
He's awful. He's horrible.
He's terrible. And, of course, they have been pulled off, his crew. Of course, again, it's an amalgam. They bring in people from all these different crews, you know, when you get to the playoffs.
You supposedly are supposed to have the best of the best in there. Why the hell was Boger in a playoff game to begin with?
Right. So they're done. That whole crew is done for the playoffs.
They should be done, period, because they screwed that whole game up. Let's face it.
Now, that being said, good game. The right team won, but it still came down to the end. The Raiders had a shot. They had a chance.
They had several opportunities throughout the game that they did not execute on.
So it'll be interesting to see whether they keep Bisaccia as the head coach, because Mike Mayock has been fired.
He never should have been hired to begin with. We railed on that move back in the...
Yeah, and it's always a reach when you're going into the TV booth or to a former player. That works out very few times, if any.
Yeah.
It worked out for the 49ers with John Lynch.
But Lynch was a smart player. He knew stuff. He could coach on the field, getting his teammates where they needed to be. You could see that potential in him. Mayock was a moron in the booth.
Right. It'd basically be like putting Mel Kiper Jr. in charge of a team. Sounds good on paper, but let's face it, it would be an absolute disaster. Right. And of course, with the whole John Gruden thing and then all the DUI stuff that happened with Ruggs, and Bisaccia should get credit even if he doesn't get the job going forward.
He kept that team together. He pulled them out of a funk, and he got them into the playoffs and kept them competitive.
Yep. And again, I will say, how about we start giving Derek Carr credit for being one of the better quarterbacks in the league?
Yeah, he should get it, but he won't.
No.
Because he's not flashy.
Nope. He will go down, in my opinion, as the most underrated quarterback in the history of the NFL. He won't win a Super Bowl, but again, we talked about Trent Dilfer won a goddamn Super Bowl.
Dan Marino never won a Super Bowl.
Right. So you can't judge these players based on that. So the Bengals win 26-19. They move on. They will be in Tennessee Saturday afternoon. Next up, the Buffalo Bills are who we thought they were, Dave.
They are. They showed up. We talked about it, what was it, about a month ago, that they were finally showing what they should have been all frickin' season.
Every team has a misstep. Every team outside of the Patriots the one year where their misstep was a Super Bowl when Eli Manning beat them.
On a fluke play.
Right. You are going to have down times during the season. It's all a matter of when it happens, if you can recover, how quickly you can recover.
And can you get the momentum going when you need it at the end of the season?
And can you overcome injuries? And the Bills...
Check, check, check.
The Bills are in good shape going forward. And I'm not ripping on the Patriots on this. Belichick, he did a great job, in my opinion, bringing that team back from the dumpster fire it was last year, where he still managed to keep them around 500 with Cam Newton, who now we realize is shot.
Yeah, that was a washed up desperation.
He had Mac
move.
Jones fallen. Mac Jones had an unbelievable year. He will lose out probably to Jamar Chase for Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Right.
But
come on.
Mac Jones had a great season.
The kid showed the potential to be a starter going forward.
The only question I have about the Patriots going forward is all the money he spent, all the money they put into free agents. Some of it looked like it was just flushed down. Jonnu Smith did nothing this year.
No, that was turned out to be bad. Who knows? Maybe he'll turn out like Quinn with an off year and will come back with a vengeance.
But Hunter Henry, on the other hand, they signed both those free agents. They were trying to relive the whole Gronkowski, Aaron Hernandez days.
Yeah.
You know, you got one. Hunter Henry had a good year, but Jonnu Smith was terrible.
Yeah, abysmal.
I have faith in Belichick. I'm not giving the division to the Bills for the next 5 years. So let's hold off on that.
Nope, they're going to be solid another year, maybe 2, but they're chinks in the Bills' armor. They've got some issues to overcome on both sides of the ball.
Yep, we move on to Sunday, January the 16th. The Bucks dominate the Eagles. It wasn't even close.
The score, it wasn't even as close as the score showed.
No, because it was 31-0.
Yeah.
And then the Bucks just said,
and then
we're done.
Screw it, garbage time.
We're done. And again, this is without Fournette. This is without Godwin. This was without the nut job Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
Number one, this is an argument against expanding the playoffs because this game would not have happened
if they wouldn't have expanded.
Right.
Yeah.
The Eagles, all credit to Sirianni, all credit to Jalen Hurts. You finished 9-8, 9-7, whatever, with the extra game.
Yeah.
You got in, good for you. Then you got into the big boy camp.
Yep, and you found out you aren't ready to play.
Right. And they're probably, to me, at least 2 years away. They've got a lot of work to do.
Yes, they do. Oh, good grief.
And then we get to the game of the weekend. The 49ers going into Dallas to play the Cowboys. And when I sent my picks to you and Bill, what did I say? I had to bring into account the bed factor.
Right.
That and that's Cowboys the team I was thinking of.
Because it's Mike McCarthy.
Yes.
And lo and behold,
out beautifully.
We were both on that bandwagon that McCarthy was not going to have this team ready to play because he doesn't know how to coach in the playoffs. And another knock on him was clock management, which is what it came down to.
And the thing that's driving me crazy is all the excuses he's making for that last play call with the quarterback sneak.
It was so stupid. It was horrible. There's no excuse
in God's green earth, anybody that has watched football at all thinks that the center or the quarterback can take the ball, set it down, and the play continues.
No.
A referee, an official has to touch the ball.
They're the ones who set it where it needs to be.
And McCarthy still, I heard the press conference again today, still thinks, well, my guys could set the ball and the play should go. You're an idiot!
One, your guys put the ball in the wrong spot. The official had to back it up to where it was supposed to be.
The official has to touch the ball because he has to put it in the spot that the other officials agree is where the ball landed.
Exactly. And another thing, you don't call a frickin' running play when you don't have any damn timeouts left.
Unbelievable. And the 49ers played a great game, but
until
Jimmy G tried to hand the game to them with that awful interception. And then calling the play too early on the quarterback sneak on 4th and inches before Trent Williams got set when they tried to pull him from one end to the other.
You just needed them to pay attention to your team, Jimmy G. Oh, the Niners tried to give that game away.
They did.
They dominated the hell out of them, and then they let up. I know they had some key injuries on defense that didn't help, but my God, the play calling on offense was horrible. Too many incomplete passes. You had a solid running game. Dallas had trouble stopping it. You got away from what you were doing right throughout the first half.
How often do we say, with Dallas involved, the other team was destroying them when it came to the running game? Because between Elijah Mitchell and Deebo Samuel, 160-plus yards rushing for the 49ers. Yeah. Ezekiel Elliott is a bust. I'm sorry.
He's done. After that injury, he has lost all confidence in his ability to make any cuts.
I will be very interested to see what the Cowboys do going forward with the running game. Does Tony Pollard get another look? Do they bring in a young guy?
You almost have to at this point. Elliott looked completely lost. He looked shell-shocked on the sidelines after every series that they were out. He's like, I don't know what I'm doing.
It doesn't surprise me. He was a perfect example of a guy that I would never have given a long-term deal to.
Nope. You never know.
And
there was some questions on him anyway.
Between him and Saquon Barkley, they are proving right now you've got to do what the Steelers did last year. You wait till the last half, the last third of the first round when they got Najee Harris before you even think about draft. You don't draft a running back 2, 3, 4, 5. You just can't do
Christian McCaffrey.
Oh, China Doll?
Yes. Another example.
Honors to the great David Bowie. China Doll.
Yeah. Now, I've got issues with the way this game was called in the second half. Tony Romo should not be allowed to do another fucking Cowboys game ever. That fucking homer, you could tell he was pulling for the Cowboys. There was no impartiality at all from this doofus. Oh my God, it was abysmal.
This is why Dave is my brother from another mother, because I literally had in my notes for this podcast episode, Tony Romo, terrible.
Tony Romo sucks. Never another Cowboys game.
At least Troy Aikman has learned and he's backed off. Early on in his career, he was accused of being a Cowboys homer.
Yeah.
But he has backed off and become a lot more
But even
impartial.
Aikman never got excited and had his blood pressure and started getting a high squeaky voice as, oh my God, the Cowboys can do this. All they have to do is blah, 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 blah. Like, shut up, Romo. You're a piece of garbage. You're supposed to be impartial. Oh,
I don't like Romo at all, let alone when he's doing Cowboy games. I don't understand why people think he is a great color man. He is awful. I have said he sounds like a drunk guy sitting next to you in a bar, smoking a pack of cigarettes at 2 a.m, trying to tell you how smart he is when it comes to football. And he's not. If he was so goddamn smart, the Cowboys would have won more than what? Did they win any games with him in the playoffs? Any? Maybe one?
One, maybe. Maybe.
I'm not listening to him as a genius. I'd rather listen to Trent Dilfer. Trent Dilfer's got a ring. Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl.
I would have rather.
How sad is that?
I would have rather have listened to Aqib Talib.
Oh my God! Oh God, no, no! Oh God! Oh, that'd be like Squid Game. You have to listen to Tony Romo or Aqib Talib. It's like, just kill me now. Where are the snipers? Get the snipers. Kill me. I give up. I don't want the money in the pig. Yeah. I don't want it.
No, that was just, god awful to listen to.
Going back though, since we'll stick with commentary for a minute. Going back to the Raiders and the Bengals game, Drew Brees was terrible too. I know you didn't see the game. Drew Brees was awful. Drew Brees is not the future of color commentary in the NFL. As bad as Tony Romo is, Drew Brees is like, you might as well just give me 15 melatonin tablets and put me to sleep right now. He's awful. He is awful.
Then I'm glad I missed it.
I think that's why they're renegotiating Chris Collinsworth's deal.
Oh my God!
Trust me, trust me. You want him more than you want Drew Brees.
I am over Collinsworth.
He's better than
Tony
Drew Brees.
Romo for whatever team starts to pull away.
I'm telling you, you don't want Drew Brees.
Oh, I'm done with Collinsworth. Collinsworth used to be good. I don't know if he had something happen to him, but he's become abysmal to listen to.
All right, we move on to Sunday night, where the aforementioned Chris Collinsworth did do the commentary on the Chiefs-Steelers game.
Yeah, that got away early, and I faded out on it. There was no point.
Have to give credit to the Watt brother, who is not an overrated bum. TJ Watt is phenomenal.
That kid is solid.
Tied the sack record, granted, with an extra game. Yep. But he actually kept the Steelers and kept that game interesting. Kept the Steelers in it, kept the game interesting for at least 1.5 quarters. With the pressure he put on Mahomes. So good for him. Thank you for at least making the game interesting for an hour before, of course, the Chiefs destroyed the Steelers. Ben Roethlisberger not being able to throw a ball
more than 5 yards, 5, 6, 7 tops.
And of course, they're already talking about Mason Rudolph, and they're talking about who's going to be the quarterback next year. Roethlisberger hasn't announced his retirement yet.
No, but I'm pretty sure that the Steelers are done with him regardless.
But again, they should have planned for this a year earlier. We've talked about this.
They should have
had a young quarterback in camp this year. That's why the 49ers might actually be in the best shape, because if you let Jimmy G play this out, he implodes in Green Bay. You got Trey Lance waiting in the wings. He's played a little bit. He's got a full year under his belt. Yeah. That's what you need. That, to me, is the model you need to follow.
You saw Big Ben's decline over the last handful of years. They should have planned 3 years ago. And they should have had that in place 3 years ago. You'd have had somebody, and you wouldn't have needed to bring him back for this year.
Agreed. I mean, you could see the fact that his arm strength was fading year after year after year.
Yeah.
He's a Hall of Famer. I'm not disputing that. He is a Hall of Famer. You look at the numbers, he's got 2 rings.
Yes, he's going to be there, but God, the way he went out is just, it's tough.
Yeah, you kind of would have wished to see something a little more on a high note, like a Drew Brees or a Peyton Manning, at least show up in the playoffs, at least.
Yeah, go down swinging.
Yeah.
But if you can't throw the ball.
And then finally, the Monday night game, of course, which we have railed on.
God.
The fact that we had to stay up not one night, but 2 nights on a work night to watch crappy football.
My God, the Cardinals were awful.
34-11, the Rams win. But Kyler Murray, boy, that was a come to Jesus moment for him, where he took 5 steps back.
Yeah, you talk about a guy who got on the biggest stage to that point in his career, and he looked like he had never played the game before in his life. It was pathetic.
And we've talked about this on the show in the past, where we had our doubts based on the last few years with Cliff Kingsbury, with Kyler Murray, how they would always start out strong and fade in the end. This year, they finally got to the playoffs.
But
and then
still,
they do this.
An epic collapse.
They do this. I mean,
that's
play,
a better team
that
than what
one
was
play,
on the field.
Unless Kyler Murray can come back, rejuvenate his career. He's only, 24, 25? He's got to come back next year. He has got to show everybody. Because that one play where he kind of threw the ball underhand in the end zone to avoid the safety
for the 4-yard pick six.
That was one of the most pathetic. That Trent Dilfer wouldn't have done that.
No, he would not have.
I know. I keep referring to Trent Dilfer, but of course it's because he is the example of football futility that somehow ends up getting a ring.
Yeah, it was a product of a great defense and a coach who threatened his life to just manage the game and not do anything stupid.
Here's my question. Who is going to be the first one to blink? Is it going to be the Cardinals fire Kingsbury? Or does Kingsbury throw Kyler Murray under the bus and they try to trade him?
I would not be surprised to see Kingsbury throw Murray under the bus. Kingsbury seems like a guy who's out for self-preservation because he didn't want to come in. He wanted his guy. He had to have Kyler Murray, even though they just blew a first-round pick the year before.
On Josh Rosen.
Where is he?
Yeah, he's a third stringer somewhere.
I mean, come on, the kid never got a fair shot anywhere. And unfortunately, that happens all too often.
And the weird thing I heard the other day after this game, Tuesday morning, people talking about, sports radio gurus talking about this. They are saying, you got to remember something we've forgotten for the last couple of years, because Kyler Murray had been talking. They've been talking about him for the MVP because of the strong starts he'd had. Got to remember, he can go play baseball.
He can.
He could bail on football completely and go play baseball.
Maybe.
Just a thought. Just an interesting thought. All right, couple more tidbits. We will save our picks for the divisional round until segment 2. The Texans fired David Culley as head coach, which just seems infinitely unfair. But of course, you got to remember,
you're not dealing with a stable organization. You've got a GM who was a life coach. in New England and somehow manipulated his way into a position of power. So they're a train wreck. They're done.
Yeah, I don't think the Texans have a bright and shining future at
No.
all. So Cully actually probably should be happy because, of course, they have to pay him the full contract,
Yes,
which
they
is
do.
right around $25 million. 1 year coaching, $25 million.
Peace out. I don't need this crap anymore. I'm set, baby.
Do I got Deshaun Watson? Do I not got Deshaun Watson? What the hell?
Ugh.
Of course, going back to the Cowboys game, we do have to call out Dak Prescott because
oh my God.
After the game, for him to actually give kudos to the fans who were throwing trash at the referees.
Officials. That was unacceptable, completely uncalled for. He showed us true colors of who he really is with that. And he waited until Tuesday to issue an apology.
Now, a lot of people are saying, but he showed class the way he did it.
No, he didn't.
He never should have said what he said in the first place. That would have been the sign of a true,
Do you
mature
know why
leader.
It showed class. He had a classy apology. It's because he had a whole freaking day and a half to be coached on what to say and how to say it.
Sorry. I just threw my pen at Dave.
Oh,
In agreement. I agree completely with what he said. Going back to the Bills destroying the Patriots, we have to point out the fact that the Bills, in their 47-17 shellacking of the genius, Bill Belichick, played what NFL records geeks are saying was the perfect offensive game ever. The only perfect offensive game ever. 7 possessions, 7 touchdowns.
That was damn impressive.
And that's why I'm going to end up being right, riding the Bills, like I said at the beginning of the season, all the way to the Super Bowl. Yep. Now watch what's going to happen this weekend.
Ride him like a Taiwanese hooker.
Here's the one thing.
We got to go back to the Eagles-Bucks as well.
Okay.
Bruce Arians fined $50,000 for hitting his player, Andrew Adams, in the head after a stupid play.
And he doesn't regret it. You know what? Good for him. Good for him.
Pay it. The guy was a moron for getting involved in that altercation.
Arians is saying, I have no regrets about doing it. He was going to get us a penalty. He was going to get suspended. He was going to get fined. I was trying to get him out of that situation. I don't care how you think I handled it. I don't have any regrets. Good for Bruce Arians.
Disciplinarian.
It's time to stop with the snowflake shit. These are football players. They got helmets. You smack them in the helmet. Tell them, get the hell out. Go back to the sidelines. Don't get suspended. Don't get a goddamn penalty. Don't hurt your team.
They're men who should be able to control their emotions. Tough love is sometimes needed.
Going back to the Bills-Patriots game, I don't know if we've ever talked about this on Sports Frenzy before. Why do the Bills fans throw dildos on the field?
I don't know.
What the hell? I don't get the correlation, the connection.
I don't know.
If they threw buffalo wings,
buffalo chips,
maybe. Why do they throw dildos on
I
the
do
field?
Not know. And what kind of disposable income do they have? Do they hand them? Do they recycle them after the game and hand them out to the first X number of thousand fans that come back?
I heard somebody talking about it saying, well, they're not dildos, they're marital aids. Oh, my God. Come on. Call them what they are.
Pittsburgh has a terrible towel. Buffalo has used
the dynamic dildo. The dastardly dildo.
The dildo of doom. We could do this all day.
Yeah,
kids.
let's see Marvel put a comic book out about the dildo of doom. We're not even close to being done yet, kids. First segment wrapped up. We'll finish up NFL with our picks for the divisional round right now. She walked into my office just as I was reaching for the bottle in my bottom desk drawer. Legs till Tuesday, lips like pillows. I want to hire you, she said, to find Sports Frenzy 2.0. Doll, I said, that would be the easiest case ever. Sports Frenzy 2.0 is on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Apple, everywhere you listen to podcasts. She nodded to herself, sat down and smiled. I grabbed 2 glasses. Life was good. And so is Sports Frenzy 2.0.
Segment 2 of Sports Frenzy 2.0 coming at you here for January 19th. This will hit on the 20th. I'm the Conquistador, Dave Height.
Along with the maestro, Kevin Crane.
And as we get started, I'm going to go do a little trip in the Wayback Machine. Back to the days on cable access when we had our crime blotter.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
Bum, 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 bum. Malik McDonald, Brown's defensive tackle, got himself in a world of hurt down in Florida, walking naked near a school. Police were called for obvious reasons, and when he was approached, he charged one of the officers and began violently punching him and attacking him. Had to be tased for his arrest. This guy is a repeat offender because back in 2019, he got charged with a DUI and assault on a police officer. And then 2 months after that, wound up being arrested again for being in possession of a stolen truck. And he was in jail for a time and put on probation. This is another chance for him. And obviously, he's got issues. Now, they're saying it's because of a head injury from an ATV incident years back. But we've got to stop giving these criminal offenders chance after chance after chance in the NFL. It's not worth it.
Amen to that. Amen to that. I heard people today comparing it to, even though now he is a model citizen and he is one of the best defensive players in the league. Remember when Chandler Jones of the Arizona Cardinals freaked out because he took or smoked, I don't know if you take it, you smoke it, the synthetic marijuana,
Yeah.
and he wanted to eat somebody's face.
Yeah. You get a chance.
How about you be responsible and don't
do
drugs?
This. Ugh. It gets frustrating that these guys are held to a different set of standards than everybody else.
Other NFL news to be wrapped up, to be analyzed before we get to our picks for the divisional round. The Seahawks fired defensive coordinator Ken Norton Jr. The Legion of Boom has not been all that great over the last 4 or 5 years, so I don't see this as a shock. This is probably something that I would imagine ownership told Pete Carroll, okay, if you want to stick around, you need to start fixing things. And one of the first things you've got to make right is the defense.
That they definitely need a lot
especially
of help
when
there.
You look at the fact that the other 3 teams in the NFC West all made the playoffs and all have solid, dynamic offenses. Kyler Murray's shitting the bad Monday night performance notwithstanding.
Yep.
Of course, going back to the Bills, I find this so funny. This barely missed out on my dumbasses of the week lineup. ESPN's Bart Scott, early on last week when the forecast for the Bills-Patriots game was frigid cold, came out and said Josh Allen should take Viagra. Now, the reason I'm not putting this in the dumbass category is
because it opens up the blood flow.
Many people came out and said that has been Chad Ochocinco. Johnson came out and said that.
It opens up the capillaries and keeps the blood flow, keeping you warmer.
But the one thing, I'm not taking credit for anything other than this, because I did not hear anybody point this out. As Bart Scott was talking about Josh Allen taking Viagra, he was on ESPN's morning show called Get Up. I'm claiming that! That's mine!
Can't make
That's the Maestro's! I found that out. I saw that. I observed that. I'm taking credit for it. Boom, confetti.
There you go. All right, the dildo of doom. Talking with Mrs. C, my wife, who's a Bills fan, reports in, it's a tradition that started in 2016. There was a fan who threw it out on the field kind of as a joke, and everybody then picked up on it, and it's become a thing.
Yeah, it's become a thing, all right. A big
That's
thing.
what she said. Ugh.
Yeah, okay. So we've got to at some point get to these picks for this coming weekend. Stop talking about dildos and Viagra. Although that's what you've come to expect from Sports Frenzy.
All right. Let's rise to the occasion with this one.
Oh, ba-doom-ba. Look at the Conquistador. Saturday the 22nd. Bengals go in to Nashville to play the Titans.
Derrick Henry will be making his return.
We hope. Now, he did pass today. He did pass contact tests in practice.
Yep.
I am basing my
positive.
pick on that.
That is what I am as well.
If somehow he does not play, then I'm screwed.
As are me and Aaron so far. Everybody else has got the Bengals.
Yep, we got 7 picks out of our 8 panelists in so far. We have got 4 Bengals picks. As Dave said, Aaron, Dave, and Kev take the Titans. Everybody else goes with the Bengals. I understand why you would go with the Bengals. Dynamic wide receivers. They've got 3 wide receivers, probably the best 3 in the NFL.
There's a pattern, though, with the Bengals.
I don't trust their head coach yet.
Nope.
And we've seen Joe Burrow, as much as I love him, and I think he's on the path to be one of the top 10 quarterbacks here for the next decade.
He's inconsistent.
Yes.
He had a good game. We haven't seen many
Titans
back-to-backs.
have had a week off. I like Mike Vrabel a lot more as a head coach.
Yes, agreed.
Tannehill does not make a ton of mistakes, and if they have Derrick Henry back,
ball control. Eat up the clock. Keep Burrow off the field.
Don't let Jamar Chase beat you.
Nope.
Don't let T. Higgins beat you. Don't let Tyler Boyd beat you. Don't let Joe Burrow beat you. Don't let Mixon beat you. That's what the Titans, and everybody is down on the Titans because nobody wants to see the Titans in the Super Bowl. Boring. They're a boring team. I don't care if they're boring. If they play the game right, if they play the game right, shouldn't you admire them and appreciate what they do? And that's what's going to happen this weekend.
They have their own identity. They play it to perfection.
They pound the rock.
Ball
Tannehill
control,
throws 20 to 25 passes a game.
Ball control and defense.
Yes. At home, I go Titans.
All right.
The night game. Cold. Again, like last Saturday night. Frigid cold. It was Buffalo last Saturday. Now it's Lambeau Field.
49ers go in to play the Packers. As much as we would love to see the Packers get destroyed by the Niners again, with the letdown the Niners had on the Cowboys, we don't know what Bosa's status is. We don't know their linebacker, Warner, what his ankle's going to be like. taking the Packers. I just can't trust the Niners with what we saw at the end of the game.
I agree. I can't trust Jimmy G. I can't.
Now there's reports he may have a strained shoulder.
Yep. I mentioned I've gained a lot of respect this year for Kyle Shanahan. He's done a great job coaching this year. But I agree completely. And everybody on the panel right now taking the Packers in Lambeau, near 0-degree weather. I don't see how, unless Bosa comes back, unless the defense somehow comes together, comes up with a game plan that can foil the lateral thinker.
Yeah, as much as we don't like him, this is his kind of game coming up.
The game after this, the NFC Championship, I don't care who he plays, will be intriguing. And we'll get to that next. Because Sunday, the 23rd, the Rams go into Tampa Bay to play Tom Brady, the GOAT, and the Buccaneers. This is going to be, to me, the game of the weekend.
This is going to be the knockdown, drag out, toe-to-toe that we had hoped we'd get a few of last weekend.
Yeah. I'm scared because the Buccaneers have so many injuries, so many problems between Antonio Brown flaking out, Godwin out for the year, Fournette, we don't know if he's coming back, Ronald Jones is out, now Tristan Wirfs is hurt, Ryan Jensen, the center, is dinged up, and they let up 4 sacks to the Eagles, even in a blowout.
Yeah, that was a little disturbing. But can you honestly really think that Stafford is going to win 2 playoff games in a row?
He won one. Here's what I'm going to tell you. And you know I'm a Bucs fan. You know I want more than anything else the Bucs to win this, go into Lambeau, and kick Aaron Rodgers' ass again. You know that's what I'm hoping for. I'm praying for it. Nothing would make me happier than Bucs Bills in the Super Bowl. Because then we got Patrick Mahomes, State Farm number 1, Aaron Rodgers, State Farm number 2, sitting on their asses, doing a 3-way with Jake from State Farm. While the GOAT and the best young quarterback in the NFL, Josh Allen, are playing for a championship.
That would be the ideal situation.
My negativity says that's not going to happen.
There you go.
I'm scared to death. Von Miller, Aaron Donald, a banged-up Buccaneers offensive line, an average at best secondary with Odell Beckham starting to play better, Cooper Kupp, arguably the best receiver in the league.
If Stafford can get him the ball.
I think it's going to be like a 27-23 game. Rams win.
I hope you're wrong.
I do too. I really hope I'm wrong.
No, I don't trust the Rams. I can't do it.
Last week, Monday night, I would have agreed with you.
I don't know how much.
I was really worried about that game. I was really worried about that game.
I don't know how much it was the Rams playing that well or the Cardinals were just that bad.
And I can see that. I agree with you. But again, the way the Bucs offensive line folded with Jensen hurt, with Wirfs hurt, scares me when you've got Donald and Von Miller. And then you've got Jalen Ramsey's going to take Mike Evans out of the equation. So it's Gronk or nobody else.
Or nothing. We'll see. Maybe the kid will show up.
I hope I'm wrong. I take the Rams. Sam agrees with me. So does Nick. Aaron and Doug agree with Dave, as does Bill.
Intriguing.
Yep. More fun here on another huge game.
The late game Sunday. Bills go into Kansas City to play the Chiefs. Sunday's going to be fun, kids.
Sunday is going to be fun. I'm telling you. These 2 games, Rams, Bucks, and Bills, Chiefs, are going to be fun.
Yep. Actually, the Bills, Chiefs, we almost expected to see this in the championship round.
Good call, Dave. I would like to point something out to you.
Are we going back to our
We're going back in
preseason
the hot tub
tiebreakers?
time machine. We are going back in the hot tub time machine to our preseason picks. Because what I would like to point out is that the maestro pointed out that in the NFC Championship, he thought it would be the Buccaneers and the Rams. And in the AFC Championship, he thought it would be the Bills and the Chiefs. You did the same with the AFC, although you had the Seahawks.
I had the Bucks, and I thought the Seahawks were going to do something, and they flippin' blew it.
Once again, do not doubt my prognostication abilities. Just because the seeding fell differently, I had the Bills, Chiefs, Bucks, Rams just 1 week earlier than it should have happened.
There you go.
This is going to be good. Hopefully much better than this past wild card weekend. Because, as Dave said, Super Wild Card Weekend
kind of super sucked.
It was dildo wild card weekend is what it was. Jesus God. Terrible football. Terrible football. Up and down the slate. Back and forth. We do have to talk about the hiring cycle.
We haven't even given who we think is going to win this game yet.
I picked the Bills.
As do I.
To go all the way, so I will stick with my pick.
I'm going with the Bills, as is Nick and Doug. And while she doesn't have all her picks in yet because it's not the deadline,
we know
Mrs. C is going with the Bills.
Oh.
Yeah. Chiefs for Sam, Bill, and Aaron.
Yeah, God forbid she would ever take anybody against the Bills. Sorry. But we have to go to our team they are not in the playoffs.
No.
But I'm finding this to be I don't know if it's just me, a slow hiring cycle for GMs and coaches. Because I would have thought by now one team would have pulled the trigger and at least hired a GM, if not a head coach.
I mean, let's face it. The first hire should be the GM.
Logically, yes.
Logic dictates that you want a GM in place who will find the coach that they will be able to work with. It's so damn hard to have a coach and try and match a GM that way. But we know it's the Bears. Logic is all out of the equation. But I still don't get it for everybody else.
That's what scares me.
Nobody has pulled the trigger on a GM yet.
We've got 7 head coach openings right now?
Yeah, and
6 or 7?
4 GM.
And nobody's hired anybody yet. This seems very scary to me.
Odd on every freaking level.
Now, I understand now, I think certain doors have locked when it comes to trying to hire some of these coaches like Brian Daboll or Byron Leftwich, the guys that are still in, Raheem Morris, guys that are still in the playoffs.
Yeah, now it's focus on time for them.
Right. But Brian Flores is still out there. Somebody could hire him.
No.
He's floating out there. Everybody wants him. And I'm telling you, these crazy rumors I'm hearing that he is so enamored with the whole Patriots connection that he would go to Houston, coach the Texans, because he knows Nick Caserio.
Who is the frickin' idiot who doesn't belong as a GM?
I can't believe Brian Flores would take that job.
He can't be that stupid.
Especially now with Caserio coming out this week and basically saying, we are going to get rid of Deshaun Watson one way or the other. Because they can't go another year with paying this guy $30+ million to sit
on his
at
ass.
home. Yeah. And why would Brian Flores take that job? I love him with the Bears, but how could you not take Justin Fields over nothing? Nothing.
I know.
Literally nothing. The best player on that team is Brandon Cooks. a journeyman wide receiver who is good.
But he's got nobody around him.
But on any other team, he would be the 7th or 8th best player at best.
Yeah.
And he's the best player on the Texans right now because they suck. And I find it offensive that they fired David Culley. The guy won 4 games with a pile of shit.
And who do you have to thank for that?
Nick Caserio.
Who doesn't belong in a GM position.
Yeah, I mean, David Culley, good for him that he cashed in, and now he can
No
just
kidding.
like retire. I know he won't. He's probably an NFL lifer. He probably wants to keep coaching somewhere as a coordinator.
But come on.
Good for him, you know, to put up with that crap for a year.
Yeah, that goes above and beyond the Call of Duty. Hell, I'm surprised Elway hasn't made a move yet.
God. Well, now that team's for sale. The Broncos are for sale, so you wonder
what's going to happen.
You can't pull the trigger on a major deal because could that devalue the team?
Hell, with Elway running the show, doesn't that devalue the team?
Hey, he's got a ring. He won. Not only as a player, but as a president GM.
Yeah, but at what cost?
Oh, it's because of Peyton Manning. You know,
that's the only reason.
You know, this is the guy who thought Brock Osweiler was better than Peyton Manning for a time, right?
Exactly. For a time.
All right. Moving on, we've got some other tidbits to address before we get into segment 3 with a massive round of dumbass or not. We've got some NASCAR news. The Daytona 500 winning car may not be displayed for a full year at Daytona International Speedway. Why? You may ask, Conquistador. I will tell you. Because of supply chain issues.
They can't afford to lose a car out of the stable because of parts and fabrication.
Thank you. Thank you. This is why I do the show with him. He's so smart. He's such a smart guy.
I know things. Contrary to popular belief.
Ryan Newman looks to be done. He still does not have a ride for 2022
And you know what, Ryan? You're got a second chance at life. Walk away now.
I know the man loves fishing. He was a good friend to somebody I worked with years and years ago. The guy told me, said, Ryan, he's not the bad guy everybody thinks he is.
No, he's not.
He really likes the outdoor life. And
when he gets around racing, he's intense, and that gives him that aloof persona. But by all accounts, he's one of the nicest guys out there when the pressure is off.
IndyCar driver, IndyCar legend,
Jacques Villeneuve
will try to qualify for the Daytona 500. That'll make things interesting for Daytona.
That will be very intriguing. See if he can pull off the long shot win. And we all know the Daytona 500 is nothing if not ripe for a long shot victory.
Correct. And finally, I wanted to put this in the dumbass or not debate segment game show this week, but I decided no, we'll
let it ride as its own story.
Because NASCAR doesn't seem to care about its core base, its core fan base, because who's playing at the break for the Clash at the Coliseum?
Yeah, I know. I saw that lineup. It's like the Super Bowl lineup.
Ice Cube will be playing the break between segments at the Clash at the Coliseum.
Along with Pitbull.
Read the room! NASCAR, read the room!
They're out in California. All right, I can understand Pitbull performing because he's a co-owner of a team. That I get. I didn't know Ice Cube was a racing fan.
I'm fine with diversity, but stop shoving it down our throats. You goddamn know well who your NASCAR fans are.
A 38 special reunion would be more in line.
Leonard Skinnard. Jesus God. Oh, it's California. The PC police must be patrolling. The cancel culture forces must be.
Well, you know what? Get what you can out of California, because rumblings are they want to double their taxes.
And they're already the highest tax state in the country.
Yep.
Oh, my God. Real quick on the NBA front, 2 big injuries that destroy star power in the NBA and really destroy anybody, not us, who has any interest in what's going on in the NBA regular season. Damian Lillard, Portland, out 6 to 8 weeks, abdomen surgery, and now Kevin Durant of the Nets, sprained MCL. He's out 4 to 6. Good luck, Adam Silver, trying to make anybody interested in this NBA season.
Well, now the Bulls have both Levine's
out
and Ball with strained knees. So they're looking at a long road.
I guess all these maintenance days, all these days off you give these high-priced namby-pamby pussies aren't working, are they?
Doesn't seem to be.
Finally, I know Dave loves tennis. Can't wait for tennis news. But
when do we get to play in the clay?
We have been talking about tennis the last 3 weeks, mostly because of this.
The bullshit that Australia is pulling.
Novak Djokovic, his visa was revoked for the second time. He lost his appeal. He's out. He's deported. And now they're saying he might not get to play in the French Open either.
Oh, come on!
So now we're manipulating who gets to win, who gets to get the mantle of most men's singles titles.
All right. Why is he being singled out?
Good question.
Why is he the only player being singled out?
That's the only thing. He's not vaccinated.
Can he provide a negative test? Can he stay in quarantine? Is that what the rules are supposed to be?
We've talked about this, and we've talked about this freedom of choice. Dave and I are both vaccinated, both boosted.
We think everybody should be.
But we are not forcing it on everybody. Like the lateral thinker says, everybody has their choice. You know, if you want to inject yourself with goat's milk and say that it's
and you were inoculated.
Mr. Inoculation. But you have to suffer the consequences like Kyrie Irving is right now in the NBA. Now, I think it's bullshit the Nets agreed to this. I think it's bullshit that they acquiesced
to his demands.
Snowflake, namby-pamby demands. But now we're talking about history here. We're talking about tennis history. And because the majors in tennis are in different countries, you have to at least allow these people to travel from country to country with some semblance.
And let's face it, there's enough time between all these tournaments that he can be there, quarantine, get his negative test results, and be fine.
I'll be interested to see what the soothsayers of tennis say years down the road if Nadal. I don't think it's going to be Federer. Federer's about done. Nadal could be the one, like you said, with the clay, to sneak in, win the French, maybe win the Aussie Open here, get a 2 or 3 major lead on Djokovic.
Well, with the clay, there's Wimbledon, too.
Right. And finally, thoughts and prayers. Not a moment of silence, but one of the greats in women's tennis, Chris Evert, has been diagnosed with stage 1 ovarian cancer. wish all the best to her.
Yes.
Back when I really loved watching tennis, her, Martina Navratilova.
Those were some epic battles on the court.
Yes. So we wish the best for her. She is a great ambassador for women's tennis.
How about for sports, period?
Yep. Nothing but love, prayers, wishes for good health for Chris Everett. We've got Dumbass or Not coming up. You don't want to miss it, kids.
Stay tuned. It's our favorite segment.
We'll be right back. In the fortress of solitary justice, two brave men hold the fate of the sports world in their hands, with the utterance of a single word: frenzy! These seemingly ordinary men become the maestro and the conquistador, destined to save the world from stupidity on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Apple, and all noble podcast hosts everywhere. Dave and Kev stand for truth, justice, and the frenzy way. Hey everybody, welcome back to Sports Frenzy 2.0. I am the maestro, Kevin Crane.
I'm the Conquistador, Dave Height.
Taping here on the 19th of January, 2022. We are available on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Breaker, Apple, Overcast, Castbox. Dave, stop me.
Anywhere you find your favorite podcasts.
Check us out on Facebook. Drop us a line.
Tell your neighbors, tell your friends. Don't tell the kids unless they're over 18.
That's right, because talking about dildos, I don't know if you really
How
want.
How far do you want to go?
Yes. Kids are eating Rice Krispies. Daddy, what are they talking about on Sports Frenzy? Throwing dildos on the field? And we're going to get to something like that because it is time to play
our favorite game,
Dumbass or Not.
Who does Red Forman have lined up for us this week?
I have not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, but 9 potential dumbasses here in the last segment to run by.
Ooh, a supersized segment.
That is right.
Do we get fries with that?
Maybe a sausage McMuffin with that. Dave will always, as he does, because he is smarter, more erudite than I am, he will figure out which of these 9 contestants are actually worthy of being called Red Forman Dumbass of the Week, and which are not. Maybe I overstepped my bounds. God knows it's happened in the past.
Not often, but on occasion.
First up, let's go to our favorite sport, soccer. In a match between Mali and Tunisia.
Gesundheit.
The referee, and I will tell you right now, half of these dumbasses or not, there are names in here I will butcher. That should tell you something right there. There are names I am not going to get right. I'm not going to get correct. Just deal with it. Mali, Tunisia. Soccer match with the referee Johnny Sikazue. He tried to stop the match twice with as little as we know about soccer. We all know soccer goes 90 minutes plus
whatever
substitution, extra time, substitutions,
injury, what have you.
This guy has been convicted multiple times of fraud.
No.
Corruption. He tried to stop the match twice before the 90-minute mark.
What?
Once at the 85-minute mark, they came out, they protested, they yelled, they screamed, they started the match up again. He's tried to stop it again at 89 minutes.
Dude!
Based on substitutions and all the breaks and all the time they're supposed to make up, the match should have gone between 93 and 97 minutes. This guy was trying
trying to short the actual time limit.
He was trying. Molly ended up winning 1-0.
Oh my God.
He was trying to fix the match.
That is an overt attempt to fix a match. Stopping it before actual regulation?
Can you imagine a football game? Minute 35 to go. Nope, we're done. Jerome Boger comes out and said, nope, we're done. Game's over.
2:01. Well, we're going to forego the 2-minute warning. It's over.
Can you imagine that?
No. Oh my God. All right.
Now, is he a dumbass or is he just a corrupt human being? Again, he's done this before.
He's a dumbass, corrupt human being. You can be corrupt within the confines of the rules, but this is such an egregious attempt. He's a complete dumbass for being so obvious about it.
I agree.
And he should never be allowed to officiate another match ever.
But again, we're dealing with, I'm not
FIFA?
Third world countries where corruption runs rampant.
But come on, you at least make it believable.
Yeah, stopping a game before the time limit. That's a little obvious.
That's a pure dumbass move.
7.5 innings. Nope, game over. Baseball game over.
No. That's dumbass material right there.
All right, so 1-0 right now. This one, I don't know. Depends on how you look at things. We all know from past episodes how the maestro feels about prostitution. Maryland assistant hoops coach Bruce Shingler was suspended for soliciting a prostitute.
He's a dumbass because he got caught.
What I figured you'd say.
It's not legalized yet.
It should be!
It should be legalized, taxed, health care for him, all that 9 yards. But where it's not, he's a dumbass for getting busted.
All right, I'm 2-0 right now. 2-0. I'm feeling good. Feeling good. I think I'm going to go 3-0 right now with this one. All right, after all we just talked about in the last segment with Novak Djokovic and all the crap he had to go through with Australia, trying to get in, visa revoked, sequestered, judges involved. This guy we've talked about in the past. He's kind of a showboat jackass. Nick Kyrgios. Again, I told you, a lot of these names I'm going to butcher. But Nick Kyrgios won his first round match at the Australian Open. The match that Djokovic wasn't even allowed to get near. So what does he do after he wins his first round match? Not the championship, not the semifinal.
He goes out to a strip club without wearing a mask?
No, he goes up to the crowd. He takes a fan's beer and takes a swig of it.
No!
With all the COVID protocols supposedly in place.
Was he removed and disqualified for the rest of the tournament?
No. They all thought it was kind of funny and cool.
I have issues with this.
For all the shit they put Djokovic through,
drinks a
beer.
You're allowing this douchebag to do something like this. He's a dumbass for doing it. For a first round win.
Is it a double dumbass?
It's a double dumbass. It's on the Tennis Federation for not disciplining him and kicking him out of the tournament for violating protocols. And he's a dumbass for doing this stunt for a round one win. Save it for the championship, dipshit.
I knew it. Yep, that was an easy one.
That was a softball.
All right. Ex-Alabama quarterback Jay Barker
Oh my God, this douchebag.
And I'm not bringing him up because he did beat Miami in the 93 Sugar Bowl to knock the Hurricanes out of the national championship picture.
He beat his wife like he beat the Hurricanes.
He tried to run her over in a car.
God.
And the worst part of it is, it was Sarah Evans, one of the most beautiful freaking women in the world.
Country music superstar, Sarah Evans.
Oh, she's so hot. And Jay Barker tried to run her over in a car.
Because he's a psychopathic dumbass. Weren't they in the middle of separation or something, part of the story?
Yes.
Because he was abusive.
Cheated on her.
He cheated on her. He was abusive. And he's a fucking degenerate, retarded, moron, dumbass.
Not even because he beat Miami in the 93 Sugar Bowl.
No, just for trying to run Sarah Evans over.
That's the big
for
point.
Cheating on Sarah Evans. What the fuck are you thinking?
No, I've heard things about Sarah Evans, though. I will say that. I've heard Sarah Evans can be a little bit of a loose cannon, shall we say.
So maybe she instigated an infidelity of her
but still,
own.
He's got to stay in control.
There's no excuse to hit a woman.
The coach does not control you. You control the coach.
You do not hit a woman. You do not try and run her over.
No. Back off. He had a job that we would want. He was hosting a radio show down in Alabama. It's like, dude, just go.
Just do your thing.
Go on the air the next day
go
and say,
gently
my wife
that
is a slut.
Night.
Whatever. And then send her my way. That's all you got to do. Sarah, there's some guy on Sports Frenzy 2.0.
Nut job.
He talks a lot about dildos. Probably right up your alley, baby. He's got a small car. Probably wouldn't hurt you if he tried to run you down with it. So, am I 4 for 4?
Yes.
I am 4 for 4 right now. 5 more to go. 2 radio announcers in Maine.
They have radio in Maine?
Yeah, that's all they got. They got shortwave radio and Stephen King stories is all they have in Maine. 2 radio announcers in Maine were fired for mocking high school girls basketball players because they were fat. They were caught on a hot mic.
God, you idiots!
They were caught on a hot mic during a break. I don't know if it was like halftime or just, quarter, whatever it was. And they were just basically saying, oh my God, look at her. Oh my God. Oh. The hot mic thing is driving me crazy here over the last couple years. Here's an idea. Don't say anything even remotely close to a microphone you don't want to ever, except if you're on Sports Frenzy.
Exactly. They're dumb.
Assume the mic is recording. It's
always assume the mic is on. Always. That's why when you go anywhere, no video, no pictures, no audio.
Rumor is
these guys have totally destroyed a career we would enjoy.
So dumbasses?
Of course they are. And it's high school basketball. Come on. That's totally unacceptable.
You've got to, no matter what, everybody has bad thoughts. I've said this all the time. Everybody has bad thoughts.
It's the dumb assholes out there.
You have to be able to control your thoughts and not make them bleed out of your mouth. Don't talk. Don't say them. Don't enunciate them. Keep them inside, bottled up like I do, till you get an ulcer and die.
Or like you have an outlet on your podcast.
Yes, there you go. But I thought you would like this last part of the story. is that they've been suspended and fired. They are hiring Mike Leach to take their place. Because he loves to talk about fat little girlfriends. That was my
I know.
That was my joke. My off-color joke. Oh, I'm so sorry, cancel culture. Please don't cancel us. Fuck you!
Next up,
Carlos Correa. High-priced free agent shortstop who supposedly the Cubs were targeting until now
he hires the evil bastard from hell who's single-handedly destroying the game of baseball.
Scott Boras is now representing Carlos Correa. Is Carlos Correa a dumbass?
No, because he's hiring the guy who's going to get him the most money. The problem is baseball in general is a dumbass for dealing with this douchebag and caving to his whims.
I know. I can't fault the guy for trying to make the most money. But at some point, bear with me here, Boras is going to burn so many bridges with all these teams that they are not going to deal with him anymore.
There's very few teams
They're going to
basically
hang up the phone on him every time he tries to call.
Yeah, there's very few teams who will deal with him anymore.
So this makes you wonder, does this mean he's going to go to another high market team like the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Dodgers? Rumor is, a maestro aside here, rumor is they are actually going to discuss, whenever they get around to it, whenever they decide this lockout isn't going to happen, when they start to think about the money they're losing,
when they get serious?
They're going to put a floor in, is what I'm hearing.
You have to.
And they're going to drop the cap.
Put in a hard cap?
You're looking at 100, 200, that's it. You have to have between 100, 200 million is the initial speculation I've heard. 100 minimum, 200 maximum.
Hard.
Yes. None of this luxury tax, soft cap bullshit.
None of you can go over for 3 years before you really get the hammer on you.
Right.
No. Hard cap, hard.
And you're going to make the Royals, you're going to make the Pirates, you're going to make the Reds, make the Rays pay their fair share and not just pocket all the revenue sharing.
And I'm all for that. Keep the fucking Dodgers and Yankees from overspending.
That will make me come back to baseball. I will watch baseball. I would be
all in on that.
I will watch any game you put on if you make the bottom more competitive and the top
come back down.
Yes.
Parity, like you have in the NFL. Gee, what a concept.
But, of course, there is never an excuse for stupidity, as we are Bears fans. We know that. Oh, my God. They are not going to hire Brian Flores, are they?
No.
They're not going to.
Because McCaskey still gets to be the face of the franchise because Mama said he could.
You know what I predicted, and I still think it's going to happen. I still think it's Leslie Frazier. I still think it's going to be Leslie Frazier.
Yeah, I know. He's coming up for his first interview.
I don't know who's worse, Dan Quinn or Leslie Frazier.
Oh, God. You got Flores and Peterson out there. I know you're not a Peterson fan, but he's better than Frazier or Quinn.
Yes, I would take Peterson over both of them. I'd rather have Leftwich, but I got a feeling he's going down to Jacksonville.
He's going home.
I'd rather have Flores. God help. If he actually goes, as we talked about earlier, to the Texans, he's an idiot.
Oh,
then we're better off without him. Now, if he goes somewhere else, that's because the Bears dropped the ball.
Yeah.
If Flores actually thinks the Texans' job is better than any of the other jobs out there,
then he's going to be in the running for dumbass of the year.
Yeah. Even that's fine if he doesn't go to the Bears. But the Texans' job,
nobody should want the Texans' job.
It's a dumpster fire. It's an atomic waste disaster.
I mean, where else would we say there's a worse GM than Mayock?
Not Mayock, Casero.
No, I mean, Casero's worse than Mayock. I mean, where else would we have said there is a worse GM in place than what Mayock was?
Yeah, because Mayock ends up bringing in guys who can't control themselves, who end up destroying lives, killing people, going out and getting DUIs. That's why I said, again, I admire Derek Carr. He has been the one. The owner is an idiot. The Davis family, idiots.
Yep.
Derek Carr has been, he should get in the Hall of Fame just for keeping that franchise jumping around from here to here to here.
Trying to be the rock, the stable.
And being one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league all through that time.
Yep. All right, enough of our aside.
This is a touchy issue. We know this. We've talked about it before.
Are we back to prostitutes?
Well, that's not touchy. No. Prostitutes should be legal.
No, I meant they're touchy.
The University of Pennsylvania transgender swimmer Leah Thomas. Here's where I say it is a dumbass. One of it's, I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm supposed to call, because you all want these little labels.
One of their.
Compared herself, supposedly, according to one of her teammates, to Jackie Robinson.
Oh, come on!
Leah Thomas thinks she is breaking down barriers on the same level as Jackie Robinson.
That is a complete dumbass statement. In no way, shape, or form. In a collegiate swimming? Really?
Here's the thing. This is not about race. This is not about gender per se. This is not about a gay person, a lesbian, a homosexual, because it's all the same. It's a level playing field. This is not a level playing field. This is cheating. This is cheating on the level of steroids. You are not a woman competing in a woman's sport. Have you seen pictures of her? Him, whatever.
Of them?
The shoulders are like broader than a normal. I know swimmers have broad shoulders. This is ridiculous. It's cheating. It is cheating. Caitlyn Jenner came out today, formerly Bruce Jenner, and said, this has got to change. This is not right.
It's a complete dumbass statement to compare yourself to Jackie Robinson.
Jackie Robinson went through things none of us will ever understand and hopefully never have to go through ever again in society.
Exactly.
We're ashamed and embarrassed of what Jackie Robinson had to go through. Leah Thomas is coming in to a society that is so unbelievably, I think, too accepting of this crap, and still has the gall to compare himself, to Jackie Robinson?
Bye-bye,
kiss
dumbass.
My ass.
Idiot.
All right, Dave knew this one was coming. This is a tricky one. This is a really, really tricky one. And again, I'm going to butcher names here, so bear with me. Golden State Warriors minority owner,
billionaire,
Chamath Palihapitiya.
Yes, that's how I would have pronounced it.
All right, so I got something right tonight.
Wasn't she a porn star in the 80s?
I hope she looked better than him. Here's the tricky part. Did he say the truth just in a brutally honest way? Or is he just a brutally honest douchebag? and a dumbass for saying that nobody cares about the persecution of the Uyghurs. Again, I apologize if I did not pronounce that right. A minority Muslim race
in
China.
Who's going through a genocidal situation.
Right. Now, when he said that, initially, the story I saw, but without context, I thought he was trying to be empathetic. I thought he was like saying nobody cares about them, like Enos Cantor.
Right. No.
Or Daryl Morey.
The way he said it is, nobody cares about these people. Why are we even talking about
it?
This guy is a fucking douchebag, dumbass. There is no excuse for even thinking that genocide is okay on any fucking level.
Right. And again,
we're back to fucking China and the NBA.
And again,
and this is another
they don't comment
example.
Either way. They don't comment either way. That's the scary, horrible, nasty part of it. Is they won't comment about Daryl Morey, they won't comment about Enos Cantor, and they won't comment about this guy.
Because they don't want to offend China. Well, guess what? China's fucked up. And this shit needs to end. And people need to recognize what's going on and take a fucking stand against these assholes.
That's the problem with this society. Our whole world is that we're scared to death to take a stance. We're not here because we don't care. We said it last week. We don't care about cancel culture. We are going to say what we think is right. We're going to call out the idiots. We're going to call out the dumbasses, now, whether it's a person, a state, a country, or the entire fucking world.
And the problem is, you haven't heard about what's going on until this comment was made. And you got our frickin' president worried about Russia and what was it? Shit.
They're worried about things that don't matter in terms of people dying, people getting tortured, people getting killed. We don't seem to care about that.
No, why are we letting China get away with everything in the world? Why are we still fucking going over there for the Olympics and supporting their economy with that bullshit?
It's time to wake up.
Take a stand. Make China fucking pay for their ineptitude, their human rights history
atrocities,
is garbage. They are allowed to pull this shit off and get away with it on the national or a worldwide stage. Nobody will call them out on it. It's pathetic. Fuck you, China.
Agree completely. This is the problem. We are so divided. We are so split that we can't come together on something like this. Because, oh God, Nike would get upset. Fuck Nike. Fuck Nike up the ass. Get one of those dildos off the field in Buffalo
shove it
up the ass of the owner. What is it? Phil Knight? Shove it up his ass.
Fucking shoe dog, bitch.
He's more worried about what? Sending a rocket to space? Him and Bezos and all these other idiots? Virgin. I'm tired of it. How about you take some of this money, you fucking billionaires, and give it back to the poor, the veterans, the hungry, the homeless, instead of worrying about, oh, I'm going to send up billionaires like Michael Strahan and William Shatner into space for 2 seconds so they can jack off and be ecstatic beyond belief as their cum floats in zero gravity. I'm sick of it!
The top 10 fucking richest men in the world doubled their wealth in the last year during COVID, when how many damn people lost their jobs and are struggling?
One more, and then we have a moment of silence and we got to get out of here. For the weekend edition, check it out Saturday morning. Tons of reviews, music, television, streaming, movies. Kirk Ferentz, one of our favorite head coaches, just got an extension through 2029 with Iowa, and then immediately disbands an alumni diversity group because the leader didn't want them to give him an extension.
And by all reports, he should not have gotten said extension for the inappropriate culture that he's propagated at Iowa.
So what?
He's Ferenc wants the diversity panel, but because they went against him, he disbanded it. What? Really?
This is what happens in these little fiefdoms. We've talked about this in college football. These coaches, basketball, football coaches, Krzyzewski, Saban, they, for better or worse, have their little kingdoms, and you better not screw with the king.
You know Finally, what? Screw you, Ferenc.
Speaking of which, a man who did have his little kingdom in Kentucky. Thoughts and prayers go out to the family of Joe B. Hall, who won a championship as a player with Kentucky in 1949 and as a coach in 1978.
Thoughts and prayers to the family of Les Grobstein, longtime Chicago sports broadcaster, announcer, will be missed on the overnight show on The Score.
We love Les. We love you. We'll check you out next week. Check out the weekend edition. We'll see you next week.